Alright. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Getting right into it. No music intro for the stream. I've got the slightest bit of a headache. But I didn't want to miss reading here on this Tuesday. So if there's a bit of a subdued energy, maybe that's why. So just heads up. If it gets really bad progressively as we're reading, then I'll call it early or something. It'll be like a weird short stream maybe. I'm willing to give it a shot though. I just, like I said, didn't want to miss it, but yeah, I'm willing to give it like 30 minutes to see if it gets a bit better over the course of reading. But yeah, if it's like a 30-minute stream, apologies about that. Let's see. Let's do the fastest of recaps. So basically, on Saturday, we saw Shion going. I keep saying the term scorched earth, but basically revenge mode. Basically does not care about any repercussions she may run into at this point. She is, I'm going to get revenge on the people I feel that have wronged me, that have done things to directly make me unhappy, and or the people that are lying to me. So on Saturday we saw obviously Mion get taken in. We saw the grandma get taken in. We saw what was the guy's name? Is it Kimiyoshi? Unk Kimiyoshi. And yeah, that's I mean that's the most recap. Like I said, she basically is torturing and or killing those people, taking the place of Mion now intentionally. Well, obviously intentionally, but to like the friends, and so that in theory Mion could keep popping up where she needs to be, like at school and stuff. Mion trapped. And I think that's basically where we're at. Get ready for an impossibly short potential Higurashi stream. It might be the first Higurashi stream in a while where we might, depending on how short this, or how long this section is, I mean, I only stream for like 30 minutes here. That we don't finish like in between chapter breaks is what I was going to say. I cut myself off, as my brain tends to do. But hey, maybe the people like a short 30-minute Higurashi stream, you know? Change of pace? Change of pace, perhaps? Rina says, what? Mi-chan, you didn't get much sleep either, did you? Did you? I'm adjusting audio here. Yeah. I went to bed at like 3. I'm a little tired.
3時
3?
おいおい、夜更かしにも限度ってもんがあるぞ。
Hey now, you can't keep staying up late.
大方、漫画の単行本が面白くなっちゃって、一巻から読破してしまったんだろう。
You probably thought... No, you probably read the first manga volume. It's a great start by me. You probably read the first volume of a manga, thought it was interesting, then read the entire series, didn't you?
うんうん。俺にも経験があるぞ。
I understand. I've done that before.
あれ、ひょっとして村長さんのこと？
What? Wait, is it about the mayor?
まだ見つかってないの？
He still hasn't been found?
うん。
Nope. I went to the Fruited Shrine to join the youth group in their search for the mayor. Since I knew there was no way he would be found, it was really boring for me. Well, just enduring sleepiness wasn't that bad. Not if you consider that Kimiyoshi had to go through since... Not if you considered what Kimiyoshi had to go through since last night. He had been hanging from the ceiling and couldn't even fall asleep or sit down, since he had to stay on tiptoes the whole time. I gotta reread that line. My mind also feels like... What is up with me? Okay, so what is about the mayor? Still hasn't been found. Shion says, nope. I went to the Fruta Shrine to join the youth group in their search for the mayor. Right. Since I knew that was no way to be found, it was really boring for me. I see. Okay. So she was up late last night looking for the mayor, but in the back of her mind, she knows they will not be found. So yeah, it's kind of that thing. I think I even talked about it recently on the series where it's like, or maybe a different game. I was talking about something. Where it's like, if you're asked to do something, in this case, look for someone that you already know is not going to be found, then, like, you have to keep up the charade, but, like, it's probably, like, mind-numbing. Anyway. The teacher explained to us that the mayor had gone missing and asked us for if we knew anything. A couple of people said some things, but they were irrelevant. To me, this issue meant nothing, but it was all my classmates were talking about. I observed Kechimibara. I had no idea if any type of danger was drawn closer to him. Maybe I'd call him again tonight, pretending to be Shion. Told him some outrageous stuff last night, so he panicked. But I was sure he'd calm down after a day. At that time, I heard a little girl's laughter. It was Rika Furude. The best. The last survivor of the Furude family, and their current head. However, she wasn't really treated as one. During the family council, she'd have to draw pictures or take a nap in the hag's bed. She wasn't even invited to last night's meeting. It was hard to believe such a little girl was responsible for part of the curse system. However, even though she wasn't in a respected position as the head of the Furude family, there were plenty of old people who worshipped her as the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. I'd heard from someone that Rika Furude was rather odd, and seemed to behave as if she knew she was that reincarnation. Maybe Takano-san had told me that at the library when she was alive. When Rika Furude became worried about something, the elderly people who worshipped her would make arrangements. It was very similar to the Sonozaki family. It was also the same system as used for the curse. I wonder, does Rika Furude know anything about the deaths of Takano-san and Toмотaki-san? What does she think of people sneaking into the ritual storehouse? Does she know who snuck in and what happened to those people? As the one managing the storehouse, it was possible that she noticed the intruders first. In fact, she was the only one who could have noticed it. She must have passed on that information, which is why the curse was executed. That foolish Kechi turned the light on when we went into the ritual storehouse. That light switch could have been connected to some kind of an alarm. Rika Furude, the leader of the Furude family. Maybe getting to know her would be a good idea. Yeah, get to know Rika. Just don't touch her. Don't you dare lay a finger on Rika. As the leader of the Furude family, how much do you know about the incident? I asked her rather directly. It was hard to tell if she understood I was asking her in place of the Sonozaki family head, instead of as Mion Sonozaki. Are you talking about Tomitake and Takano? Rika answered. The news hadn't been made public, yet she knew about it. Although she looked immature, perhaps she truly was the head of the Furude family. That's the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I already know that. But it's not over yet, is it? There should still be two more. Have you heard about what will become of them or happen to them? Wow, I feel like dude, not only would I end stream in 30 minutes because of how bad I feel, but I'm also like, my quality sucks. I'm letting down the viewers. I'm just stumbling every sentence. Mind in a fog. Have you heard about what will happen to them? I tried to be vague to see how Rika Furude would react. I'd been thinking that she had nothing to do with the underside of Hinamazawa, since she was always treated like a child. However, Rika had just said things about the incident which normal people shouldn't know anything about. That proved she belonged to the underside's network.
別にどうでもいいと思いますですよ。
I don't think that matters anymore. She answered the question about Tomotage-san and Takano-san fairly quickly, but took a little longer to answer this time. Did she have to think about it? Shit. Look on her face never changes. She's got an incredible poker face. It's impossible to figure out what she's thinking.
どうでもいいってことはないでしょ。
What do you mean?
それじゃあけじめにならないのは分かってる。
How can they get away with what they've done?
僕はちゃんと反省したならそれでいいと思いますです。
I think if they feel bad about what they've done, that should be fine. Her response was unexpected, especially after seeing all the old people get so furious last night. To trespass in the ritual storehouse was blasphemy against Oishiro-sama. The village elders had said those intruders deserved to die. Yet the leader of the Furude family, who protected the sacred storehouse for ritual implements, said that if they felt remorse for it, then that was fine. I recalled how people thought of Rika Furude's father during the dam conflict. Yes, her father was called an opportunist back then. He didn't agree with the Onigafuchi guardians who had resisted violently during the conflict. Like father, like daughter. I aggressively grabbed Rika Furude by the collar.
はあ
Huh?
何をひよったことを言ってんだか。
The heck are you talking about?
フルデ家は先代もあんたもつくづく甘ったるいね。
You're pretty stupid, just like your predecessor, aren't you? Damn. Not only is Shion so in the wrong here, but Rika, very smart. I assume very smart and knows everything and is one of those types of characters that doesn't let on that they know, like, everything that's literally happening. I'm, like, fully convinced. Shion thinks, probably Rika thinks this is Mion. I'm pretty sure, just by, like, what I feel deep down about Rika, I bet Rika is, like, looks at Shion and knows that this is fake. That this is not Mion. Look at that face. That's a stone cold face.
あんたたちフルデ家が
I gotta
最具伝
believe.
がいかに神聖で不可侵な聖域か一番理解してなくちゃならないんだよ。
The Furude family must understand better than anybody how sacred the ritual storehouse is.
そのフルデ家の仮にも当主が何を甘ったるいことを言ってるわけ。
How could the head of that family say such a thing? I laughed at myself. I was told the same thing by someone else, and was now saying it to Rika.
最具伝を犯した罪がどれほどの大罪か理解してないわけじゃないんでしょ。
Don't you know how serious a crime trespassing the ritual storehouse is?
西宮殿はお社様の大切な場所なのです。
It's a very important place for Oishiro-sama,
勝手に入ったりとかしちゃダメなとこなのです。
so nobody can go in without permission.
分かってるじゃない。
See? You know that.
そこに汚れを持ち込んだんだよ、あの4人は。
But those 4 people brought their fifth in there.
悪い猫さんなのです。
What bad kitty cats?
にゃー。
Meow.
そうだね、悪い猫だ。
That's right. Bad cats.
2匹は捕まえてお仕置きした。
2 cats have been caught and punished.
あと2匹いる。
There are 2 more.
にゃ
Meow.
どうけじめをつけるべきだろうね。
Also, I know chapter 4 was kind of like Rika focused slightly. She was like maybe like the second most important character in that chapter. But I hope sometime here in chapters 6, 7, and 8 we get like a true Rika perspective chapter, if that makes sense. Just like we have like a Shion, like from the perspective of Shion chapter here. Give me Rika pro tag. She says, how do you think they should be punished?
フルデ家当主のご意見を聞かせてよ。
Tell me your opinion, as the head of the Furude family. Rika really didn't usually wear any expression whatsoever, making it impossible to tell what she was thinking. But while I grabbed her by the collar and stared at her, I could tell somehow. Rika was a little disturbed. I sensed she was trying to see what I was thinking in turn. Yeah.
僕は2匹の猫さんは許してあげたいです。
I want to forgive those 2 kitty cats.
それでけじめになると思ってんの？
Why should they get away with what they've done?
みー、けじめって言葉が僕にはよくわからないです。
Me, what are you trying to say?
ああ、いい質問だね。じゃあお勉強しよ
That's a good question, so let me explain.
う。けじめってのはね、罪をあがなうってことなの。
Those two must offer compensation for what they've done.
罪は残せない。
They have to clear away their sins.
お社様のお怒りを放置することになるんだからね。
Otherwise, Oyashiro-sama won't stop being angry.
だから罪の大きさに比例したけじめで罪を清めなければならないの。
Every crime must be punished appropriately.
わかるよね。
Do you understand?
お社様は別に西宮殿を見られても怒らないのですよ。
Oyashiro-sama doesn't get angry even if someone enters a storehouse.
はあ？あんた何言ってんの？
Huh? What are you saying?
あの中を見ちゃダメなのは、あの中に怖い道具がいっぱいあるからなのです。
The reason why nobody's allowed to see the ritual storehouse is because there are too many scary tools in there.
見るときっと怖がる人もいると思いますのです。
I'm sure people would get scared if they saw them.
だから誰にも見せないようにしてあるのですよ。
That's why we don't let people in there.
見た人もきっと怖かったと思います。
I'm sure those intruders were scared too.
だから反省してると思いますのです。
And I'm sure they feel bad about what they've done.
反省してるから許されるって。
They're forgiven once they feel bad about what they've done?
あんたが決めることじゃないでしょ。そりゃお社様が決めること。
That's not for you to decide. That's what Oyashiro-sama decides.
僕はお社様の巫女ですよ。
I'm the shrine maiden of Oyashiro-sama, don't you know? Rika's like, no, I'm in control. I know.
そんなことは知ってるよ。
Of course I do.
じゃあ何さ、あんたはお社様に怒ってませんよって直接声を聞いて確認したとでも言うわけ。
You aren't telling me that Oyashiro-sama told you he isn't angry, are you? Rika nodded yes without hesitation. I can't believe the lies she's coming up with. I'm not surprised. I'm shocked. Huh?
あんたら古出家がそんなざまだから、あんたの両親は一昨年のたたりで死んじゃったんだよ。
That's why your parents died of the curse 2 years ago. That is a wild thing to say right to her face. Damn.
お社様に仕える資格がないとお怒りを受けてね。
Oyashiro-sama was angry because they didn't deserve to serve him.
それであんたの父親をたたり殺したんだよ。
That's why he cursed your father.
お社様はそんなことしないのです。
Oyashiro-sama would never do that.
お父様はお社様のたたりで死んだんじゃないのです。
My father didn't die because of the curse of Oyashiro-sama.
こんなのが最後の古出家の巫女だとはね。
Am I really talking to the last shrine maiden of the Furude family?
お社様が心を安らかにできないのがよくわかるよ。
Obviously, Oyashiro-sama can't be at peace.
お社様をお祭りする古出家の人間でありなが
You are supposed to worship Oyashiro-sama.
ら嘆かわしい。
How pathetic.
ミーが何を怒っているのか僕にはよくわからないのですよ。
I don't know why you're so angry, me. I realized she was in a position to know as much as the other two family heads. As proof, she talked about this year's incident as though it was nothing. Yet she could feign ignorance with a serious face. She sure is something. She's even better than me. Oh. I slapped her a few times and pushed her to the floor. Rika, having tumbled downward, looked up at me with tears in her eyes.
そもそもあんたが西宮殿の鍵が重いから簡単なものに付け替えたいって言い出したのが事の発端なんだよね。
This all happened because you wanted to change the storehouse's lock to something that was easier for you, right?
そうですよ。
That's true.
硬くて僕では大変だったので君吉に相談して簡単な鍵に付け替えてもらったのです。
The old one was too heavy, so I talked to Kimiyoshi and he changed it to a cheaper, lighter one.
あんたがその程度の手間を惜しまず頑丈な施錠をそのまま残していたなら西宮殿への侵入を許さなかったかもしれない。
If you left the heavy lock on, maybe that would have prevented them from trespassing.
今回の一件はあんたにも責任の一端があるんだからね。
This is your fault too.
それを忘れない方がいいよ。
Don't you forget that.
もちろん あんたと一緒に鍵を付け替えた君吉家当主にも責任があるんだけどね。
Of course, Kimiyoshi family actually changed locks responsible for this too. This part was something I added on a whim. I added to connect Rika's story to the disappearance of Kimiyoshi. I wanted to pressure her psychologically by doing so. Yeah, I want to pressure the little baby kid psychologically.
君吉家当主はけじめをつけてもらうことになった。
The head of the Kimiyoshi family had to pay for his crime.
だから消えた。
That's why he disappeared.
古出家当主にもけじめをつけてもらうことになるよ。
The head of the Furude family has to pay for a crime too, you know. Rika was still on the floor, tears pouring down her cheeks.
あと残ってるのは前原圭一だけ。
Keshimaibura is the last one left.
こいつは古出家の方で頼むことにする。
Suppose the Furude family would take care of him.
僕は
I
何もわかんないのですよ。
don't know anything.
別にあんたは分かんなくてもいいでしょ。
You don't need to know anything, do you?
憂慮したり困った顔をするだけでいいんだから。
You just have to look worried. That's all it takes.
それはうちも同じ。
That's how it is at our house too.
とにかく頼んどくよ。
Anyway, good luck.
そんなの
I don't... Rika hung her head. She seemed to want to say something, but she was afraid that it might be rough with her again. I doubted Rika Furude was actually at the top of the curse system like the hag was. However, as one of the three family heads, she was a lot closer to the underside of Hinamazawa than I was. By now, that underside was well aware of Kechimaibara. Told the elderly leaders of the village yesterday in the meeting that Kechimaibara was last one remaining. I just told the head of the Furude family the same thing, if threateningly. If my threat was effective, the curse of Oyashiro-sama should very soon fall upon Kechimaibara. And at just the right time, I would grab my enemy right as he took my bait. If the assassin came from the Furude family, this girl would have committed the same sin as the hag. When that time came, I wouldn't hold back. I was going to make sure she suffered and then kill her. So this is kind of crazy. I mean, she's basically views Kechimaibara as could just be collateral damage. Doesn't really care about what ends up actually happening to him. But seemingly here she's like, alright, so I've fed the people that, if they are in charge of making decisions and killing people, I've told them that Kechi needs to go. And then, if they do that, then I will feel better and more justified in exacting revenge against them. She's basically setting a trap. She's basically saying, I'm going to tell them, posing as Mion, that I know that Kechi broke into the thing and he should be punished. I've told the parties that need to know. And then she wants to get them in a trap because then, like I said, I shortened it to saying that they would feel she would feel better about killing him, but it would make her feel more justified in being like, oh, these are the people that are killing people when they really shouldn't be, you know, doing the curse thing and are in charge of enacting the curses. And to that, Shion is like, alright, well then that would be my sign that I can go and get them and teach them that that's not right, basically. It's like a weird, fucked up justice system. I mean, it's fucked up always. It's all directions. It's messed up what's happening here. But this is a very interesting way of going about it. She's basically saying, like, if Kechi then gets killed, then it is proof that they are in charge of the curse thing. I was going to make sure she suffered and then kill her. I've heard of a torture technique where you pound dozens of nails into a victim's fingers. Jesus. I already found a restraining table and the tools for it. When the time comes, I'll pound nails into your fingers. That gruesome anticipation radiated from my eyes and scared Rika even further. I wonder how Kimiyoshi is doing. Oh, God, check in. Oh, God. I doubt he died from tiptoeing all night, but sometimes a human can go very easily. He already told me everything I wanted to hear. He doesn't know anything else anyway. On top of that, he was responsible for spreading the infection that was the curse system of Oishiro-sama. His sins are very heavy. I really liked Uncle Kimiyoshi. But apparently not enough to spare him. He had always been kind. The hag was so tough on her relatives, and that's why he was extra nice to me. Jesus. When we talked yesterday, I was so happy to hear him say he would forgive Shion. He even said he would fight the hag to save her. That made me very happy. Don't worry. If Shion-chan feels bad about what she has done, she won't be demoned away. Leave it to me. I felt such warmth inside of me. I almost shivered. I was so happy, yet so very sad. For he continued to say that Satoshi-kun deserved to die. He said those nice things because he wanted to make me unhappy, since she was worried about Shion. Satoshi-kun deserved to die because he was a member of the cursed Hojo family, but Shion-chan of the Sonozaki family did not. That's what he meant. In other words, to the leaders of the village, including Kimiyoshi, members of the Hojo family are more contemptible than insects. They didn't care if they lived or died. Their sin was not only that they despised the Hojo family but also that they let that hatred infect the rest of the village. Therefore, everyone in the village deserves to be a victim of the curse of Oishiro-sama. Kimiyoshi and the others created an environment that excused murder in that name. If that was so, if Takano-san and Toмотaki-san hadn't committed the serious crime of trespassing in the ritual storehouse, uncle reveal? Or not uncle? Or uncle? Or is this her dad? Just straight up dad. Then Satoko Hojo, the last survivor of the Hojo family, and Teppei Hojo, who has been hiding in Okinomiya, might have been the victims. No, that is definitely uncle. Right? We're just now getting a Sprite for him? Nice shirt. Nice chains. Satoko Hojo. She was always around Satoshi-kun. She expected Satoshi-kun to help her every time she cried. She was one of the people who cornered him. If Satoko wasn't that much of a burden, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have killed his aunt. Somebody told Satoshi-kun to commit that murder, and to hide the evidence of his connection to the mastermind, Satoshi-kun was demoned away. That's what Oishi thought. If Satoshi-kun hadn't killed his aunt, maybe he wouldn't have been chosen as last year's victim, because the commands were vague, and after all, Curse of Oishiro-sama fell upon the Hojo family as a whole. It didn't matter which member of the family died. His aunt had a terrible reputation in the neighborhood. She didn't communicate with her neighbors. She was always throwing fits, and there was nothing nice about her in any way. Even if Satoshi-kun didn't kill her, the curse would have fallen upon her sooner or later. Their aunt was the first victim. There needed to be another Hojo to calm the curse. According to a rumor, their uncle was living somewhere in Okinomiya with his lover. However, Okinomiya was a little different than Hinamazawa. The Sonozaki family was powerful there as well, of course, but it would have been more difficult in Okinomiya to demon someone away. So naturally, Satoshi-kun and Satoko, who were still in Hinamazawa, became the targets. Which one should be cursed? That was simple. Satoko, of course. She was snobby and lacking in manners. Everyone in the neighborhood liked Satoshi-kun, even if he was the son of the Hojo couple who betrayed the village during the dam conflict. Compared to Satoko, he didn't deserve to die. Therefore, the actual victims of last year's curse should have been his aunt and Satoko. Satoshi-kun was suddenly all alone. His mean aunt and mean uncle were gone. His sister, who was a burden to him all his life, was gone too. Satoshi-kun was such a nice person. He'd be sad, although he'd realize he was finally free. But time would heal him. Wait, I skipped a thing there. But time would heal him, I'd even help. He didn't have to live in his house in Hinamazawa. There were plenty of empty rooms in the apartment block where I lived. I could find him a part-time job, too. He didn't need to go to school in Hinamazawa. He could go to the school with me in Okinomiya instead. He wouldn't know his way around or really anything about the school there. So I'd be with Sachi-kun all the time. I'd show him a shortcut to school, go shopping, and I'd teach him many different things. What an unbelievably happy ending. Sachi-kun had been suffering so much, and I had been pushed away all my life. But we would finally be happy. I enjoyed these sweet delusions, but I didn't have any more time to waste. I was sure there were plenty of old people who had been trying to get a hold of Oryu all morning, and were going to try to catch me after I got home from school. Actually, the phone had been ringing constantly while I enjoyed my happy thoughts. When I answered the phone, I casually listened and replied. As I planned, Ketchumaiba is now known as the next curse victim within the underside of Hinamazawa. I also tried to let them know that the disappearance of the village chief had something to do with the fact that he changed the lock on the ritual storehouse's door. All the authorities in the underside came to realize the seriousness of trespassing in the storehouse. After all, one of the heads of the 3 families got punished. One of the phone calls was from Oishi. He had also heard about Kimiyoshi's disappearance, and he knew it had something to do with the changing of the lock. I'm impressed. He had some pretty good sources, but all he can do is catch whatever information he can get. There's no way for him to find out where it's coming from. I'd call Ketchumaiba again later tonight. Some of the more aggressive villagers may have already started to take action around him. I'm sure that by now, Ketchi is feeling the danger that's coming toward him. I'd have to be careful that he didn't get killed easily. If I can catch the enemy before they bit Ketchi, I can use him again as bait. Ketchumaiba. I haven't known him for that long. He's funny, if not intelligent. He'll never replace Sachi-kun, but I do think he's fun to be around. There's just one thing I don't like about him. He rubs my head far too often. His hand is as warm as Sachi-kun's hand, which is why I can't stand it. But that's about it. Ketchumaiba isn't Sachi-kun's enemy. I don't hate him. He's fun to be around, but I wouldn't shed a tear for him if he became a victim of the curse. I won't prevent Ketchumaiba from being killed, but I won't kill him myself either. I'd made arrangements for the curse to fall upon him, but I never told anyone to kill him. Well, I suppose I did tell Rika Frude to take care of Ketchumaiba. Wait a minute. To avenge Sachi-kun, I'm doing exactly the same thing as the hag did. I'm using the exact same system that killed Sachi-kun. Ketchumaiba, I'm just using him. I told people to let the curse fall upon Ketchi, but I've been giving him appropriate warnings. I'm going to help him if he tries to live. If I catch all my enemies. Maybe I'll let him lose. Loose? He's different from Sachi-kun. Sachi-kun was tricked into killing his aunt, and was killed himself afterwards, so there wouldn't be any evidence remaining. I won't kill Ketchumaiba. That's how I'm different from the hag. Okay, yeah, I'm still kind of feeling like shit, and not only am I dealing with a headache thing that feels like it's just going to keep getting worse every 5 minutes, I feel like my reading quality and my enjoyment is declining. So awkward cut off to the stream. Massive apologies to you viewers. It'll just be an awkward 30-minute like stream here. But I don't know. Maybe a short little dinker. I don't know why I'm calling it that. Will be nice to watch as a midstream. Maybe we'll try to make Saturdays reading a bit more on the beefy side. I say that, but I have no idea if I'll be able to commit to that. But yeah, again, apologies about that. So take it easy. Sorry to bother you for just a 30-minute nothingness stream. I'll make sure we recap, especially for my sake, recap well what we did here in just like this past half hour. And then we'll hit hard on Saturday night. So, take it easy. Have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, stay well, and I will be hopefully back tomorrow. I'm assuming I'll feel better by tomorrow. I usually just have to sleep these kind of things off, so yeah. Until then, bye.